Hearing none, I think I need a motion for the annexation plan. Is that correct, Zach?
Yes, the adoption of the annexation plan only, and to schedule a public hearing for November 2nd.
Do we have a motion for that? Commissioners?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell, you making a motion?
I will, for the clarity of the language, Mr. Golden, we're talking about the annexation plan with the letter N and not the annexation plat with the letter T, correct?
That's correct. So basically, you're introducing the annexation resolution, adopting the plan with an N, and then scheduling the public hearing.
Terrific. Okay. Therefore, I make a motion to accept the wastewater treatment plant annexation, in which we adopt the annexation plan, and will schedule a public hearing for November 2nd, 2020 at 7:30 p.m.
Motion's been made by Commissioner O'Donnell. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion carries 5-0.
Mr. Mayor, do you want to take this agenda item?
Agenda item number 4, the consideration of distributing the remaining small business grant monies to the EBPA and Main Street affiliate program.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Several months ago, we, in midstream on the COVID-19 pandemic, we approved $30,000 be set aside for small business grants, and we changed the criteria to see if it would fit more small businesses, called them, and we've had 13 business grants of $1,000 each for a total of $13,000, and currently the town has $17,000 left over. It's my recommendation with the staff that we divide the remainder equally between EBPA and for future Main Street affiliate program in the amount of $8,500 to each entity. That's it.
Any questions?
Yes.
Commissioner Ritz?
Whatever happened to phase two?
What's
Phase two, we had 13 small business micro grants, very restrictive, the size of the business, amount of employees, et cetera. We were going to consider a phase two for businesses that did not meet those requirements. Never heard any more about that.
We put the feeler out that we've we relaxed some of the requirements, the size, the number of employees, and it was stuck at about 9, and it got up to 13, and we're just at a point where we just want to see if we'll just give it to the EBPA and the Main Street to set the distribution.
Right. Communications with Mr. Slaughter with the EBPA is that they are really struggling to do what they need to do to help the businesses in town. So I think the idea was by giving the monies to the EBPA, because they would not really qualify for the grant, that they would be able to help disseminate the money and use the money to help all the businesses without the restraints of a grant.
I'm assuming then if 8,500 would go to the EBPA, then they can help out their members as needed. Obviously, no restrict, like it could be any dollar amount, I guess,
Right.
determined by the EBPA. But I would assume then also that only members of the EBPA would qualify for any assistance, correct?
that would be up to the EBPA, but I would imagine that would be the approach they took, but I don't want to really speak for them. But that was our intentions, was that they would be able to better serve and help the businesses in town and send it where it might be needed best.
Okay. And then the final question is, we don't know when we voted on it tonight to pursue the Main Street affiliate program. Might be a while before that comes into place. Why are we setting $8,500 aside for that now when it's free to, there's no cost to us to join that program?
So the 8,500 would go towards projects that the town can do. As if you remember what Maddie said, is we have to continue to show that we're improving our Main Street area. And so we wanted to set monies aside so that we could work towards projects that would also help the businesses downtown.
Okay. I mean, that's, I can respect that. I'm just looking at it now as what everyone has endured, especially our businesses here in town over the past several months, that maybe the full 17,000 would be better suited to help out businesses now instead of putting some aside for future.
Well, I think,
I mean, I get that. I just think that given the circumstances of what a lot of our businesses have gone through, it might be more beneficial to them now.
well, I think, and this is something we discussed with the mayor, that we start with the 8,500 to the EBPA. We set aside the 8,500 for the Main Street affiliate program and the programs that could possibly assist the businesses. But if the EBPA gets in and finds they go through the 8,500 and there's a great need for it, I don't see why, and the mayor supports it, that we couldn't then come back to the board and say, we want to move the $8,500 back to the EBPA. But this way, if they don't need it, we have it to put towards our Main Street programs once we get approved.
And are any nonprofits and religious organizations be excluded for any of this amount then, correct?
I don't know what the EBPA does. I don't know who their members are. If they do include churches and nonprofits, I'm not sure.
Okay.
What would they use that for? I'm not a real big fan of giving out money without a plan.
Well, that's, and I think, I'm trying to recall the email from Mr. Slaughter that it outlined what they were not able to do at the EBPA level because they have no monies coming in. I don't think they were charging any dues during the COVID and they weren't able to get it in. I think the idea, like our grant did, was to help, with rents, with salaries, with maybe goods that need to be purchased. I think that would be the intent of what the EBPA would use it for. But again, I don't want to speak for Mr. Slaughter either.
Kathy, I know one thing what they were considering doing was putting a billboard along US 15 and highlighting different businesses. I'm not sure if that's still their plan. I know it's extremely expensive to do that, however, and they did not have the funds.
Okay.
That's one idea they had.
Right.
Any other questions? I need a motion to distribute $8,500 to the EBPA and the other $8,500 to Main Street affiliate program. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion for the distribution of the remaining small business grant monies to the EBPA and the Main Street affiliate program.
Motion's been made by Commissioner O'Donnell. Is there a second?
The money will just sit there.
Is there a second for the program?
I'll second just for the vote and for discussion.
Motion's been made by Commissioner O'Donnell, second by Commissioner Davis. Now we'll set it up for discussion before we vote. Who wants to go first?
I'm just not sure that those 13 businesses can't use that money if we just gave them the money. That I give them another 1,000 for their grant. There's some businesses that are struggling, and there are some businesses that are talking about not being able to survive. And I don't know. I still have a problem giving money away when there's no plan. Where I know that if I give $1,000 to XYZ company, that they're going to pay their rent with it or pay some bills and things like that.
Boy.
Have any of the businesses approached the town a second time, and or sought saying, "Is this going to be renewed?"
Not that I'm aware of, Zach.
No, I was in charge of the program, and everybody was extremely appreciative, but no one's ever asked for more.
Under the last.
And when we
Go ahead.
when we provided the grant to them, what was it, a reimbursement grant where they indicated they had paid something and we assisted them, or we had just provided it to them and it was acted on in good faith and then in documentation?
Correct. It can be used for their rents, for their salaries. It couldn't be used for any old debt that they had or any new debt. So basically for salaries and for rents.
Okay, and for the purpose of discussion, did we have a clear plan from the EBPA and how they intended to manage the money? I mean, if we're handing it to them to delegate this distribution to businesses in need, I think that has a lot of value. If we're handing it to them and we don't have a clear plan in place, it raises a concern. And I don't question the leadership of the EBPA, but I don't know if we have that information in-house. It's hard to support this without that information being, like, quite frankly, crystal clear.
I can't find it. If there was I'm trying to look at my email real quick, what their plan to utilize the money. I'm trying to find it. I can't.
Was the
recall.
intent to have them manage grants to businesses to assist them?
I'm sorry, what was your question? I'm sorry.
Sure. No problem. Well, was the intent of giving the EBPA this money to have them manage the distribution of the grant funds to businesses?
Right,
Like,
the remaining, well, it was, I think the intent would be to use it for what they felt was, for lack of a better word, the most bang for their buck. What would help the EBPA, which then ultimately would help their businesses, what they felt was the most, I guess, best use for it.
I know another thing I was talking with Alan Knott and Wayne Slaughter about, they are going to use some of the money for their website. Right now, their web designer, I guess he left the town, and they're going to hire a consulting firm to revamp their website. I do know some money is going to be used towards that.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Ritz.
No, that's. I mean, I think this just goes against sort of what the intention of the grant was in the first place. Personally, we were helping out businesses that were struggling due to COVID. I mean, one could argue, okay, if the EBPA revamps their website, that could help out businesses potentially. And then, hate to say this, but you can have other individuals in town might say, hey, are they using this money to pay for their breakfast at the carriage house? I have no issues with the EBPA handling the money. I agree with my fellow commissioners that a plan is a great idea. do we have a list of the 13 small businesses that received the $1,000 earlier? Is that public knowledge?
I mean, it
Published
is,
anywhere?
yeah, well, it's not published anywhere, but we do have the list of who, the documentation of each business that submitted the application, so Zach does have that. But no,
If
we
we
haven't
pass this-
published it.
If we pass this evening, is there any way we can mandate that the EBPA provide us a list of how the money was dispersed?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can certainly put whatever stipulations you want on the money, and if they're not agreeable, then, they don't get the money essentially.
And I think the intent was not to give them the whole 17, to keep, I think by splitting it up, they can't use the whole thing unless we see what's going on with the money. And the other 85 we have put back towards the affiliate, wouldn't go to them if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing with it.
Right.
So I imagine we could get some documentation from them on how they plan on distributing the money.
Yeah, I mean, and we could even take it as far as doing an agreement between the town and the EBPA that, that could be written up by staff and then reviewed by the town attorney as well, if there's stipulations we wanted to put on it.
Mr. President,
Commissioner Burns.
personally, right now, I'm going to abstain from this vote only because anything that is distributed would basically directly benefit my family, as I know they have applied for the grant in the past. So I don't want to be seen as playing favorites for a personal family member for something of this nature. So as long as it's okay with the board, I'm going to abstain from this vote.
That's understood.
Yeah. So here's a question, but before we even, call the vote, personally, I would be more comfortable if we had documentation beforehand from anybody who's receiving money from the town regarding how it's going to be used. And again, it's nothing against the EBPA, but I think it sets an uncomfortable precedent. The other piece is, it doesn't seem like we have a complete picture. I agree with Mr. Ritz. It sounds like, and Commissioner Davis, it sounds like there's a question of, are we trying to address the immediate need of these businesses, or are we now shifting to taking the long view to promote the businesses? And they do both have value, but I think the question is, at this point in time, do businesses in town have an immediate need that we can assist them with? And that was the original intent for these funds. And I think if we hear back from the EBPA, personally, I would be much more comfortable assigning funds to them. And again, I really want to underline this. I'm not questioning, the organization. I think they're a sterling operation. It's just a question of the precedent of not knowing how these funds from the community are going to be spent. The other side is, again, echoing my fellow commissioners, it's the immediate need in this period of crisis versus the long view of enhancing businesses. So I think that would be helpful.
Well,
So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
we can put a stipulation on it if you like. You go ahead and add what you want for this.
And then there's the 8,500, half of it towards the affiliate program too. I was initially concerned over that. Again, that's in the long run, looking ahead at things that we need to do with the program. So,
If I might add, at this point, and I think, and I'll defer to the mayor, but listening to everybody's concerns, that maybe it would be in the best interest to come up with new criteria to reach out to other businesses that may, I mean, did we turn anybody down, Zach? I don't think we did we?
We originally turned down on the first round, but then the second round we gave the money.
Right. So maybe looking at a separate set of criteria that might be able to attract additional businesses you know, we wrote, the grant was written off the county's recommendations. They had developed the program with Thermont, and it was a boilerplate that we took from the county and Thermont, that there may be ways to expand and expand the grant opportunities, and maybe that's just better suited of not using the $17,000 for anything right now and trying to develop another set of criteria. And I think, Mr. Mayor, what do you think about that?
Okay, I'm fine with that. Yeah, may I, Mr. President, say something?
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Main Street Affiliate Program, the 8,500, we have to come up with an equity position every time we do the wayside project, so, which would benefit, be a feather in the cap towards Main Street. So there, we do have 3 more exhibits we're getting approved right now, and that could go to that. Just pointing that out. Thank you. I'm fine with any coming back with some criteria or whatever you want to do, and we just want to get the money out to the businesses, and we've tried, and we have staff positions here, and this was kind of unusual for our planner to get into this, and all the things, the paperwork and everything like that. We just wanted to get it over to somebody, a responsible organization that could distribute the money, and we can do it any way that would meet your approval.
And I'm not discrediting the EDP at all. I mean, I think what they do is great for the community and helping out businesses, but I'm just looking at the intention of what this grant was in the first place, and
Right.
how many businesses have
Right.
suffered during this whole thing. And
Absolutely.
I agree with planning. Planning's great. But I think given our unique circumstances that we're in, immediate action to me is a better option at this point.
Could we ask the EBPA, because maybe they have something, a plan out there that we're not seeing, that is just a barn burner to say, man, that's great. Yeah, let's go with that we're not thinking about, and to see just what they want to do with that.
Okay.
I just,
I can send them an
here
email.
again, I love that group of people. I don't miss a breakfast, as you can see. And I got all the respect in the world for those officers. And, but I'm like everybody else. If there's something we can do to save a business by helping them through another month of rent compared to putting a billboard up that might bring us some business to town, I know which way I'm going to go. So.
Okay. Very good.
We do have a motion and a second on the table. If there's no more discussion, we can vote on that, or you can withdraw. Can they withdraw their motions, or do we have to vote?
You can withdraw the motion.
Commissioner O'Donnell, do you want to withdraw your motion?
Yes, sir. I don't know if I can put a contingency on, but if I could, it would be that this is an item that comes back in our next meeting with
How about we just
more
table
input
it?
from the EBPA.
We could table it until we get information back from the EBPA.
Terrific. Okay, so I withdraw my motion, and my hope is again to see this come back in our October meeting.
Okay, motion's been withdrawn. Commissioner Davis, you withdraw your second?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Thanks.
Okay. So, well, we will table this until the EBPA gets back with some kind of plan that they want to do with it for helping the businesses, or we can come up with a criteria that we can redistribute the money to the businesses we have in town.
Very good.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to the next agenda item. Consideration and approval of the contractor for the install the new sidewalk on West Lincoln around the area of the pool.
The mayor and town staff requested this item be postponed and be incorporated with the ADA ramp grant project that Zach's working on at a
Okay.
later date.
So you don't want to, you just want to pull this one
Yes,
or table it?
yes.
Okay. So we're going to table that also. That was it?
Good.
Alrighty. Setting an agenda for the October 5th?
Actually, Commissioner Sweeney, the mayor and I have a request for a closed session on September 14th at 7:30 PM, as permitted by Maryland statute. It's to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. I just need consent to move forward with that. It will be the only agenda item for September 14th.
You need a motion or you need consent?
I need consent, please.
We need consent to have a closed executive session for September the 14th? Is that what it is?
Correct, at 7:30.
At 7:30 PM? All in favor, is everybody okay with that?
This will be a virtual meeting as well.
Yes.
I'm good. Does this relate to personnel or to business or just categorically? Can we be?
Just citing number 7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. It does not have anything to do with personnel.
Terrific. Okay.
That's next Monday, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
I believe I'm okay.
Everybody's okay.
I think I'm
I
okay
heard
that
you
night,
okay.
yes.
All right. We'll have it on September the 14th at 7:30 PM. It'll be a closed session here.
Correct.
All righty. Now to the
Or
agenda.
or via Zoom for the rest of us.
Or Zoom, yes.
Yes, it'll be via Zoom. Maddie will be out, so bear with us as Zach and I try to figure this out while she is on vacation.
Oh, boy. we might have to move it.
We will do our best, and I will just tell everybody, Leslie will also be in attendance, our town attorney, and I'll send out the agenda, which we're required to by Maryland law, ahead of time, hopefully by the end of the week. All right, moving on to October 5th for the consent
Here, take that.
consent agenda. I have the appointment of Wayne Slaughter to the Board of Appeals for consideration. For admin, I have a couple items. I have draw the census winner of the iPad. Then I have a proclamation for the 65th anniversary of W.F. DeLauder. I have actually 4 proclamations. That's the first one. Second one will be proclamation declaring October 6, 2020 National Night Out for consideration. Next one, proclamation thanking Fred Rock Disc Golf for their service in constructing the Emmitsburg Disc Golf for consideration. Oh, no, I had 3. Never mind. And then moving on to agenda items. First item will be the swearing in of new elected officials. Then you'll have the mayor's recommendation for reorganization of the board for commissioners for consideration. I will have, for consideration, distribution of the remaining small business grant monies. Then I have the approval of the bid to complete a preliminary engineering report and environmental report on the water system for consideration. This is necessary to obtain USDA funding for our water lines. And then I have hold public hearing and adoption of proposed ordinance 2020-08, the subdivision amendment for consideration. And then hold public hearing and adoption of proposed ordinance 2020-09, the zoning amendment for consideration. Did I miss anything? Zach, did I miss anything?
No, I think that's everything for me.
Okay, Maddie? Okay. That's everything.
That's everything? That's full.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of them are quick.
They're all supposed to be quick, but we seem to drag on here. But this is what we're going to have for the meeting. We have consent agenda for Wayne Slaughter for Board of Appeals. We have administrative business for census winner of the iPad, 65th anniversary for DeLauder. Frederick Disc Golf, and National Night Out.
Correct.
Okay, the administrative, regular agenda items will be swearing in of the elected officials, reorganization of the board, small business grant money being, information brought back, environmental report for the water system,
Right.
proposed public hearing or full public hearing?
Full public hearing.
Full public hearing. And then we'll hold the public hearing for the zoning amendment.
Right.
That's it?
You have the two public hearings, one for the subdivision amendment and then the second one for the zoning amendment.
Subdivision? Okay. Any questions about the agenda items, commissioners?
When will we set the agenda for the workshop?
We can, when did we say we were gonna do that? October?
the
We can-
19th.
Right, we can do that after we can set that for the October meeting. At the
Okay, I just have one thing that I think I want to talk about, so if we can add it to that.
For the October meeting?
Not the October, we can wait till the workshop.
Oh, okay.
Will it be a discussion item only, Commissioner?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what it is. It's the status of the West Lincoln Avenue property, where we are, what we owe on it, what we're getting in rent, that type of thing, to see if there might be a better way to go about that property.
Which property?
That should actually be an agenda item. I don't know that we want to put that on a workshop. Well, we can add it to October if you'd like.
Well, I don't want to have you all there till midnight. I mean, I don't have to get up and go to work the next morning, but
Can we add it to a workshop, Maddie? If it's a discussion item only?
yeah, because we really just want all I want is the facts about what's, what do we owe on it? Is there what the property value is? Is there any interest of possibly selling it? That type of thing.
Oh, I can.
Because there's a number 2 to that later.
Okay, yeah, I can.
Okay.
If you want, I can answer all those questions for you if you just want to stop in the office. Or we can do it in an open meeting.
Yeah, I think it's good that we all hear it because there's going to have to be decisions made, or it's going to be dropped, one of the two. So I think it's good for everyone.
No, I think they want to buy it.
This is for the Christ Community Church?
Yes.
Okay.
And by no means am I talking about throwing them out. So I don't want anybody to think that. I need all the help I can give.
That's a bad headline.
Okay, that's everything I have.
That's everything? Everyone okay with the agenda as presented?
Yes, do we
Yes.
need a motion to accept it?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Motion's been made by Commissioner O'Donnell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ritz. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. I need a motion to close the town meeting. Motion.
I'll
to
make a
clo-
motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Ritz. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Davis. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you all. The town meeting for September the 8th is closed. Thank you.
Good night.
9:58.
9:58.